Well, good morning, everyone. This is Barbara Bach, and over here to my right is Heather.
Hello, everybody.
And to my left is WJ.
Good morning. How are y'all?
We are delighted that you're here this morning to hear and learn from Ask the MLS Experts. First of all, if you look at your screen, on the right-hand side, you have a panel, and if you can't see it, there is an orange arrow that you can click on and to expand it, and then there's a place for you to type in your questions. We want your questions this morning, so start thinking about those. Even if you think it's something somebody's already asked, we're going to give you the answer again. So, if you're all ready, here we go. First of all, what are we going to talk about, Heather?
Well, we're going to talk about some improvements that we have with our new Matrix 7. So if you haven't heard, this is coming down the pipeline. It starts May 30th, which is next Tuesday. Now, WJ is pointing out the little message that you'll see on your portal when you get in there, but I'm going to highlight some of the really cool features that are coming down. So one, you'll be able to now get your IDX links directly from Matrix. You won't have to go to Inovia. So if you already have an IDX link, understand that you're going to have to go and get new links coming soon on May 30th for your websites. Also, what's really, really cool is there's going to be way more options for your banner, basically your header and footer. So you'll have more customization options there. The really nice thing is you're going to be able to actually edit your contact information. So instead of having to go back and forth from your Metrotex account or contact membership, you're going to be able to do all of your hands-on editing options of your contact info. And what's really cool is the client portal. There's going to be some great changes coming there, and what y'all are going to fall in love with is you will now have the option to choose your notifications, how you receive them when a client of yours gets into that portal. And you'll have two options, either email or it will now text you. And I know y'all are going to love the texting. And then, of course, the best thing that we're so incredibly excited about is that we're going from Bing Maps to now Google Maps.
Yeah!
Woohoo! And of course, the biggest thing about that is it's going to have more up-to-date with the locations and things like that on the map. So I think you're going to really love that. So just some clarification, make sure any information that you need to do it before May 29th at the end of the evening, because that's when they're going to be updating the system. So it should be brand new come May 30th on Tuesday morning. So just FYI. But if you have any problems or if you want some more answers to your questions about it, call MLS. That's what we're here for. You can even send us an email if you would like to get some clarification.
And what's our email address and phone number, Heather?
Absolutely. Our number is 214-540-2755, and our email address is mls@dfwre.com. All right. So WJ, what do you got for us?
Well, there's some new stuff on ZipForm. ZipForms is doing a lot more online training. The easiest way to find it is just go to Google and type in ZipForms Learning Path. ZipForms Learning Path. Hit enter, and the second one down you're going to see is ZipLogic Learning Path right here. ZipLogic is the company that owns ZipForms. When you click on that, there's lots of great information here about the online trainings that they have. So we have live classes that we teach on ZipForms, but these are going to be webinars and video-based things like that. So if you want additional training on ZipForms and the new things that are going on with ZipForms, so this is a great place to go. You can go to Google and search for that and find this page, and it will direct you to all of those. So Barb, we got a lot of questions about coming soon.
Boy,
status.
do we ever. All right. So let me address some of the coming soon questions that many of you have, and the one that we got this morning. Coming soon is a status that can be on your listing for 14 days. Now, if you're going to make it active before the 15th day, because if you wait and do not touch your listing on the morning of the 15th day that you have it coming soon, it will go to a temporarily off the market status. If you leave it as a temporarily off the market status, it will expire on its expiration date. So you want to make sure that you touch your listing. Now, when it's being added, the list date that you put in is got to be the date of the day that you add it as a coming soon. So then in 10 days later, when you make it active, the days on market will be calculated correctly. It's not going back to the first day that you added it as a coming soon. And on WJ's screen, you will see you have 3 statuses: incoming, active, and coming soon. So make sure that you click on coming soon and then click submit listing. Your coming soon listings are not distributed to third parties. They're not to Zillow or Trulia or Yahoo Homes or any of that. They're not distributed to any other place other than MLS. And you can search for coming soon listings. And when you set up a client search, you can also search coming soon listings for your client, because that will give them a heads up that this is coming soon. That's a pretty good idea. Also, make sure that you check with your seller. If you decide to show that listing in a coming soon status, that if you want to have someone come preview the home, that's between the seller and you, and that's fine. There's no MLS rule regarding that. Let's see, what else do we need to talk about coming soon?
One other thing, we've gotten the question several times about if I accidentally go to active, can I come back to coming soon? No, once you come out of incoming or out of coming soon to active, there's no way to back up to it. Okay, so you have to do it initially. You would come to the listing that you have in incoming status, go all the way over to the status tab at the top. I've got an extra one there that y'all don't have, but your last one will be the status tab. You would highlight coming soon and hit submit listing. That would put it in the coming soon status. It does do some software checks. It needs a minimum of stuff there to be there, but it doesn't do as many checks as it does going to active. Okay, so you cannot back up to coming soon or incoming. You can also cannot go into coming soon multiple times. I think it's one time per year.
Yes,
correct.
Per listing. Yeah. That's to prevent somebody from just sitting there going coming soon, coming soon, coming soon. Okay, so you do it on the listing, the status tab, highlight coming soon, hit submit listing.
Well, while we're here, WJ, let me just refresh people on the incoming. Your incoming listings, you've filled in a lot of stuff, but you forgot something. You got to go measure a room or take some photos, whatever it is, so you can put your listing as incoming. Some things have changed. They can only be incoming status for 30 days. That came about. It's only 30 days. So you need to take care of business. Go ahead and add it as incoming if you need to, then go back a couple of days later, whatever you need, and change any information that needs to be changed. So you got incoming, coming soon, and of course active.
I do want to make a quick note on coming soon, because we've had a few calls on this and questions. If you make a change, such as changing the price while it's in coming soon, that is retained in the history. We're not going to remove it. So make sure when you list that property, you put it in the correct price limit when you start, because anybody sees those price changes, it will always stay in that history. So just want to make sure that everybody's aware of that.
All right. WJ, what else have you got for us this morning?
Well, one other question we get quite often in our department is how to get the little red CSS to show up below the photos.
That's right.
So when you're inputting a listing, if you come over to Showing Information, the tab that has Showing Information here at the top, down here at the bottom is where you put in all of the commissions and who to call for an appointment and all of that. Up here you can do CSS and then put their phone number right here, but what makes that red CSS icon show up is the showing instructions right here, the typed if you go down and you highlight centralized showing service, then that little red icon will be below the picture, and everybody loves that. They can click on it, they can make an appointment really easy. So if you use centralized showing service, then that's how you get that CSS to show up there.
Great.
Okay? Also, below the pictures, there's lots of other icons. So let me just jump over here and search for a property. Actually, let me go to one that I did earlier here. Everybody knows where recent searches is, don't you? I love this feature. You can jump back and see. So down below the pictures here, you're going to see lots of icons that provide you lots of information.
There's the CSS one.
Yep, there's a CSS one where you could schedule an appointment on there. That's where what we were just talking about. That CSS icon will take you to centralized showing service. Then over here to the left is the little history icon. If you click on that history, it's going to show every time this property's been through MLS. So
that one's got a lot of history.
So it went through MLS way back in 2005, and it shows you all the information through there. And then each time it's been relisted and it's had a status change, a price change, anything there, you'll see all that history that's in MLS. So that's a neat little icon. It's an alarm clock right there, the first one.
Can I click on any of those MLS numbers, WJ, under history? What will it show me if I click on any one of those?
If you want to see that listing, then
There you
boom,
go.
it takes you right there and shows you that specific listing. So a great way to see all of the history of a property once it's in MLS. So this is retained until it's archived off of the active MLS database. Also, some of the other icons you have down here, if there were documents attached, and we'll look at another one here in a moment that has documents attached, there would be a little icon right here with 3 blue sheets. To start a transaction in Instanet and pull all this information over into the Instanet system, you would click right here.
We've got a question. What is Instanet?
Instanet is a transaction management system. If we jump back out to the portal just a minute, it's this icon right here. It can take the place of ZipForms, but ZipForms is not going away. ZipForms is now provided to all realtors in the United States by the National Association of Realtors. We used to get it by being a member of the Texas Association of Realtors. And since that has happened, Instanet saw an opportunity to market themselves to Texas realtors. This is not a new product. It's been around a long time. Over 500,000 realtors in the rest of the United States use this system, and it's much more of a transaction management system. It connects to Matrix very closely. As I showed you, you can start a transaction in Matrix and push it into Instanet. And in our advanced Instanet class, we teach you how to start a listing in Instanet and push it into Matrix to start that listing. Saves you a ton of time.
Well, so if I start a transaction in Instanet, does it push it to Matrix as active? An active listing?
Nope, it would go into an incoming status listing
okay.
there. It's basically using the data input sheet that you fill out over
Okay.
here on Instanet, and you're pushing all that data in there. Another great reason to use Instanet is if you start the transaction in Matrix, as we were talking about right here with this icon, most of page 9 gets filled out for you.
Ah,
Did everybody hear that? Page 9 that everybody hates typing in all the listing information, the listing
Yes.
agent, broker, and your information. Most of that page gets filled out by bringing all this information from this listing into Instanet. And Instanet connects to a lot more systems online. It connects to Google Contacts, Dropbox, iDrive, iCloud,
Wow.
you name it, it connects to a lot of online systems. So if you haven't taken our Instanet classes, we would highly recommend that you do.
so do I have to use Instanet for anything?
Yes, you do. All of our documents in Matrix that are attached to a transaction are stored in the Instanet system. So let me show you one here. I looked this listing up earlier, and when you go to this listing, you're going to see a little blue, 3 little blue sheets here. If you roll over it, it says Transaction Desk View Documents. That would be transaction desk in the Instanet system, okay? So if we click on those, we're going to open up and you're going to see Instanet Solutions up here. And these are the documents that are attached to the listing in Matrix. So you'll see the name of the document and you'll see these stars over here.
Remind me later. We just got that.
Okay? These stars are telling you who can see the document here. It defaults to MLS Agent View. You want to leave it there if it's a document that anybody can see. If you click on that star, there's 3 different statuses you can see there. So you have a private, meaning only you and of course we can see it. If you leave it on the default, it would be MLS Agent View. But if it's something that the public can see, go ahead and put it on public, and when you hit update, that star is going to be blue. That means that it can be viewed on the client portals. Part of the upgrade of the auto emails and the client portals is to add the ability where they could see those public documents. And also the client portals are much more mobile friendly now with the upgrade that's coming. So we would highly recommend that you make them public if you can. If you can't, then keep it at least on agent view so the agent can see those. Okay?
Heather, we want to tell WJ we got a
Yeah, great question actually that just came in. So I have somebody wanting to know, can you email more than one type of category, like to a client? Like if I want to send a lots and acreage and some residential listings all at one time?
Sure. So I always get in the habit of anytime I'm doing anything in Matrix to hit home. That clears out what I'm doing. And then if I go to search here, I could go into residential, multifamily, lots and acreage, all these different things. But if I'm wanting to see all the properties in a particular area, then I would come down here and use this cross property search. That means if it's in MLS at all, then I could click here and click on the cross property search. And let's say I just want to see actives and coming soons, and I want to see it in zip code 75028. That's where I live up in southern Denton County. And I can hit results, and I'm going to see different types of listings. There's commercial lease, there's a lease house, there's apartments, houses. I could select any of these different property types. I'll just show you here. If I do a lease house, a commercial lease, I've got land, I've got residential single family. Once I've got those selected, then I can come down here and hit refine. And when I click on refine, I can narrow, and I just see those. And now if I go back to actions, I can go to email, and now I can type someone's email address in, or if they're in my contacts, I can hit the 2, click on there, hit 2, and okay, it fills it in for me. And then I can say whatever I need to say to them about what I'm sending them. So that lets you send out multiple different property types. If you hit preview, it's going to show you the page that they're going to see. So right here it says new listing, price decrease, new listing there. So it's showing all those different property types on one email.
Going back to your criteria screen, WJ, can you just pick a couple of kinds of properties like residential and land when you're doing the search instead of all of them?
Sure. So if I go back to home, I hit search, residential, quick.
No, I'm talking about cross property.
Oh,
Cross property.
cross property. So if I go back to search and come down to cross property search, right here on the right hand side, if I did want to narrow down what I wanted to see, I would click on each one that I want. The first one I click on, then I hold down my control key on my keyboard and I can select individual ones that I want. If I want to do a range, I would click on the first one, hold down my shift key and click on the last one I want, and it would get everything in between the two that I want there.
Oh, that's great, because if you have an investor, they might want different kind of properties. Perfect.
Correct. All right.
What other questions do you have there, WJ?
So let's talk about emailing a CMA.
Oh,
Okay, so to do a CMA, if we hit search residential quick, let's say, and I was in Grapevine yesterday, so I set my default as Grapevine. But if I'm doing a CMA, I want to do all the different statuses here that I would want to show on the CMA. So all the actives, the pendings, and the solds. And then they've got these numbers over here to the right of pending and sold. That's basically telling you how far back in time to go. So it defaults to 90, but maybe I want to pull some additional history and go back 6 months. I could make it 180 days.
we get question, WJ, do I have to have 0 to 90? Can I put in like a date range? Can I go back to 2011? Can I put like January
Sure.
1st?
If you do 01/01/2011 to 12/31/2011, then it's going to do that
Okay.
date range there.
Yeah.
If you take everything out of that field, it's going to show you everything in there. So that's a lot of information. So usually on a CMA, you're going to want to do 0-180 to go back there. And then the subdivision field is a very important field when you're doing a CMA. You want to try to stay in that same subdivision so your comps are the same. And this is where we're going to use the asterisk or the default wild card. There's the word I was trying to come up with. The wild card in the system. And in Grapevine, there's a subdivision called Glade Crossing. Okay? And you're going to put your asterisk behind it. If it starts with Glade Crossing, nothing in front of it, you could leave the asterisk off the front. But it's really important to have it in the back because every property ends in phases, additions, all of that stuff behind it there, you want to make sure and pick it up. So we just get in the habit of telling you, put the asterisk in front and the asterisk behind. Then we do single family, and we want the one that's in the city of Grapevine. Our MLS area is really huge. I don't think
Yes.
people realize how big it is. It goes from the Oklahoma border all the way down almost to Waco, almost out to Tyler in the east, and all the way out to Abilene. That is a huge area right there. So make sure you put some type of geographical limiter because there could be another subdivision of that same name in one of those cities. So once you've got that selected, then you'll see how many matches you have. There's 16 right there. And you go to the results tab. And then you just, this is where the art of the CMA is. You have to pick properties that are similar to yours. So here's what I do. I sort the status column to get all of my statuses together, and if you click on it once, it's ascending, and it puts all the souls down here together. If you click on the check mark at the top left-hand corner, it selects all of those, and then I go to the first sold, and I start looking. Is this property like my property or not? Is it the same square footage, same age, all of that? If I decide it's not like my property, I remove the check mark, and then I hit the next again, and I do the same thing. I look, is this property like my property? Yeah, it is. I'm going to keep the check mark and hit next again, and I would do that for each property, trying to find properties that are like my property. If I find one that's not, I'm going to remove the check mark and go through my comparables, picking out the ones that are like my property and unchecking the ones that are not like my property. Once I finish that, when I come over here to the display where it says agent full and I click down, then I would do the agent single line, and notice the ones that I unchecked are still unchecked. So I would then go down to refine, and it gives me two choices. I can narrow or discard. They're opposite of each other. If I hit narrow, I keep my check marks. If I hit discard, I throw my check marks away. So I want to keep my check marks. I click on narrow, and boom, there's my comparables. I didn't spend a whole lot of time on this, so we got way too many comparables there, and it's not a good CMA.
No.
But it's there. So now that I've got them selected, if I want to email this quick CMA report, a lot of people make this mistake. They go to quick CMA, They view this report and they think, oh, I'm going to download and email this. They would do that in Chrome right here. They could download it to a PDF file, then they've got to attach it to their email. But if we go to print rather than email, underneath print, right down here, it has Quick CMA. Quick CMA is the same as the CMA one-line report. So if we highlight that, one of the options is email it as a PDF. Okay, so instead of having to download it to our computer and re-enter it, then we would Quick CMA, email PDF, and then we could email it directly from the system.
Question, WJ, on that screen previous,
Mhm.
can you select more than one item
Sure.
to send at the same time?
Sure, maybe I want to do the Quick CMA and the 3-up comparison. That would give some details about the properties that are on there, so I could select both of them and then hit email PDF and it would email it for us.
Very cool.
Okay, so great question there. We have other ones?
Well, we talked about the CSS, we talked about the paper documents. Is there anything else on the full report on an agent listing that they need to be aware of, such as their key box and CBS code?
Mm-hmm.
Because what happens on the weekend, if they need their CBS code or their key box number, need to show them that they can put it there, and then Heather's going to talk about some things about the key boxes and the
Okay.
importance of it.
If we scroll down on a listing, when you go down to the listing here at the bottom, you've got these representations of key boxes. You can do different things with these down here, but the first thing you want to do is go to Supra EKey.com. SupraEKey.com. When you come here, this is where you come to download your software and do things, but right up here in the top right hand corner is Supra Web. Supra Web, this purple box. If you click on that, you can go here, and if you've already set up your account, you can log in. If you haven't set up your account, you can come down here as a new user and hit register. You put in your information, it's going to create your web account with Supra, and once you've got that created, you'll log back in. You can put the serial numbers of your boxes up on this website, and it will show you activity on them. It'll show you where they're at, on what listing they're on. Every time on your EKey, when you unlock a shackle, it says, okay, what are you doing? Are you putting this on a property? Are you taking it off a property? All that information gets recorded up here on this Supra EKey site.
And Heather, why is that so important? Tell us more about EKey and what's going on with our new key boxes and all that good stuff.
Okay, so we have a lot of information I want to go over with you. So I know we still have some display key users out there, and if you're not aware what a display key is, you're probably already using the EKey on your phone. So, but my display key users, I want to go ahead and just address y'all, because there is a big thing that y'all are not going to be too happy about. It's going up in price. The annual fees are going up to $220.99 a year. Okay, so that's a nice little jump there, and the main reason that's going up is because the D-keys have so many problems.
Boy, do they ever.
If you lose your D-key, or if it breaks, you drop it on the ground and it stops working, guess what? You've got to bring that key back into us, and you're going to have to pay $150 to have it replaced. If you lose it, guess what? Still the same $150 that you're going to have to pay. So you're losing money at that point. And also in reference, we get the most calls in our key card department with people having issues are D-key users. Okay, so now you know the negatives of why we kind of would rather you switch to the EKey, and I'm going to tell you the incentives of going to the new EKey. One, the biggest incentive, it's going to be cheaper. It's actually going to be $16.40 cheaper a year. So you're going to save a little bit of money on that. We've also taken away the upgrade fee. So if you come in today and you want to upgrade to the EKey, you will not have to pay the upgrade fee. We've waived that. but you will have to pay for a little fob. Okay, now I don't want you to freak out thinking that, oh, I'll have now an extra device that I have to keep on my person. That's okay. It goes on your keychain. You have to have your keys anyway. And guess what? You always have to have your phone. You're always going to have those two things on your person. So it's easier than having to keep up with that extra display key. Also, with the EKey, not only do you not have to not update it in a cradle. Okay?
That's right.
Those display keys, you have to put those in a cradle once a week and update it. And if you forget and you're out and about, guess what? You've got to call in and get an update code. The EKey does not have that issue. It updates automatically on your phone. Now here's the big question that we get a lot. Well, what happens if I forget to update my key and I'm out in the field? Guess what? Still call us. We can help you update that key. It does not matter. Here's the common misconception agents think. Well, what if I don't have good internet or wireless service? My key's not going to update. Fear not. Once it's updated, once for that day, it's updated the whole day. You do not have to have an internet connection for your EKey to work.
So if I work out in the country, I don't have to worry about having cell service. It'll automatically work.
It will.
Wow.
So we always instruct you, hey, before you leave your home, before you leave your office, you have good internet right there. Update your key and you're golden for the day. Okay? So that's a really big thing. Also, I do want to tell you, with those new boxes that we made all of you switch to, guess what? Those EKeys work directly with that box. You just use your phone and it works on your Bluetooth. So it's a nice, more streamlined process to open up those key boxes.
I don't have to use the fob?
No more using extra devices. You just use your phone. And if you haven't seen the app, it is a wonderful thing. You can do so much from that application. Not only just opening the key box, opening your shackles, you can even read activity directly from a box. You can change your codes. You can see showing activity. There's a wealth of information right there on that app.
All from my phone?
All from your phone.
Oh my goodness.
So definitely we encourage you, if you're a display key user and let's say all of what I just told you either didn't make sense or maybe you just want to see it in person, come into one of our locations. Somebody will happily show you how it works. That way, if you feel like you could actually do it, then we'll go ahead and upgrade you right then and there. So lots of good things with that EKey.
That's great information.
Hey, there's somebody by the name of Terry online that has asked a question, and let me show you the question he's asked here. If we go to search, residential quick, and we do whatever our search here, let's look for active, single family, and I like a little town of Crum. It's easy to type in. I'm a terrible typist here, but let's say a little town of Crum here. Right now there's only 15 listings in Crum. So if we go to the results tab, does everybody know that you can change the way this report looks? If you come in here, you'll notice it's got price all the way over here on the right.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's off the screen if you've got different things going on there. So you can make this report look different. If I grab that price, I can pull it all the way over here to where I want it by holding down my mouse key. I've got it, that column attached to my mouse. Now when I get it where I want it, I release my mouse key and boom, it falls right into place. If I want to get rid of a column, I come up over the header again, and in this time, instead of holding down my mouse key, I left mouse click, I can remove a column, okay? So you make this look the way that it works best for you. You can move columns, size columns, you can insert columns, delete columns, you get it looking the way that you want. But Terry's stating when he does that when he prints this report, it reverts back to the way that it was. I think that's probably because you're not saving the report. The way you save the report or the result screen, the way it looks here, if you come over to the R in results and you come directly down, there's a little icon there. It's a blue sheet of paper with a yellow pencil. says Manage Display. When you click on that icon, it says, okay, you're on the agent single line display. Everybody has that. I can't overwrite it, but I can save a copy. But instead of hitting save a copy first, rename it to something that you know. Default, John's View, Jane's View, how about, I don't know, Test. I'm just going to call it Test View. And then I'm going to hit Save as a Copy. When I did that, notice my display changed here. My Test. If you click on the down arrow, you'll see any of them that you've saved at the top, and it'll say My, and then you'll see all the system default ones down here below. So that saved it, and I bet now if you printed it, it's going to look the way that you had that on there. So great question, Terry. Appreciate you having that question.
All right, I have a very interesting question here. It says, will there ever be, or is there something in the works to be able to avoid having to have commission agreements between brokerage who are in different MLSs? Well, here's the answer. MLSs function separately, so the offer of compensation is only extended to those who participate in that particular MLS. Until there is a policy change on the state or national level, then the offers of compensation will only be extended to those brokers in that MLS.
And it's also addressed on the listing agreement. There's a page that says, okay, I'll pay MLS members this amount, non-MLS members this
Right.
amount. So, yeah, kind of a legal question there. We're technical folks, but kind of a legal question. Hope that answered it for you.
Okay, WJ, what about the new Matterport 3D tours? How to make it show up in the listing after we add it to the videos? Can we reorder the two videos?
Do y'all know if Matterport is an accepted user by Netris?
I have not heard.
I have not heard that either, but we can definitely double check.
Yeah, we'll find out here. If you go to Matterport.com, this is a relatively new technology. They've been around about a year or two now, I think. It's kind of a cool technology. You have the pictures taken, and it actually does a floor plan of this property. As you can see the little demo going on there, you can zoom into rooms, you can walk up and look at light switches, you can look at the ceiling, you can do all these different things, and you can actually walk through a property. So if we do this, try it, and we come here, here's a 4-bedroom family home. It's loading right here. So it's zooming us in, and it's telling us you can rotate, you can move, you can zoom in and out by using these functions here. So if I click on it, anywhere I click on the screen, see how it takes me that way? Kind of a neat technology. If you want to spin around, you just hold your mouse down and you'll see it. And if I wanted to look at the detail on this mantle or on the table, I can see, are those real hardwood floors, or steps, whatever. So it's kind of a neat technology. It is a third-party vendor. There is a charge for it. Once you have that done, then you would have a link and you could put it in. I think it's probably going to be one of our default for the virtual tours, but we'll find out for sure there.
Might be on netrest.net. They have a list of who the approved vendors are, I do believe.
If we go to netrest.net and we go to the products and services, you think? Where's it at?
Yes, I believe
Yeah,
so.
that's you. Vendors. I think there should be where there's
vendors.
approved. Well, that's how you can set
That's
up.
the vendor agreement, but
yeah.
the actual approved vendor list is in Matrix
Okay.
under links.
Under links, okay, yeah. There's an approved vendor list.
Under
Under
My
links.
links.
And it's going to be right under there where it says resources, just a little bit, and you're going to see virtual tour providers right there.
Wow.
It's
Small
a
print.
nice long
Nice.
list, about 5 pages long.
Yeah, we won't take the time to look through that list and see if they're in there.
No, but we'll,
Maybe we can post an answer on the YouTube video.
yeah.
When this is recorded and put up on YouTube.
Okay, we
Okay.
got a couple of really good questions. one question was talking about printing. When he designed his one-liner and he went to print, it reverted back. So we might want to address something about printing, that you can print more than one option. You have choices. You can print a 3-up, you can print an agent full. And then the other question is, how do you set up an alert to let me know when something about has changed? That's really setting up a prospect or client.
Correct. You can set
yourself.
up a client with a search to receive emails when something new comes on. But if you're watching a neighborhood or a farm area and you want to be automatically updated, you could just set yourself up on an auto email. So maybe I want to see anything that changes in a particular community, and I could put down here just the areas I know, Bridlewood up in Flower Mound. If I put Bridlewood in the subdivision field, put an asterisk all around it, and I will watch single family, and I want the one in Flower Mound. Again, it's very important to put a geographical limiter there. So once I've got that set up, then I can go to the results blue button down here, or the results tab in the top right hand corner. And the trick is, you go down to save. You do not put a check mark on everything. You go down to save. That saves the criteria that returned these listings. And now I would do a new auto email, and instead of putting in client's information, you could put your own information in there, and then it would notify you how often to do it. If you're already in here, you can click on your contacts and see all of your contacts. There we go. And you can select your name. If you're not already in here, you would hit create a new contact, put your name and email address in here, and it would notify you as often as you want to be notified. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you could do as soon as possible, meaning as soon as something comes on the market, daily, and you could do just AM, just PM, AM and PM, or maybe you don't want notifications on the weekends. You could take the days off. So you can make this as customized as you want it to be here, and then you would be notified anytime anything changed. Be careful about the as soon as possible though. If what you're watching, there could be a lot of them coming on, you might get 8, 10, 12, 14 emails in one day. So be careful about that one, okay? Other questions?
The printing, show them how they can print. We get a lot of calls for that. They want to print more than one option.
More than one option for what? I didn't understand.
Anything, just select a few and go down to print.
Okay.
And as you can see, when WJ goes to print, he can send, if he wanted to, the quick CMA. He'll select quick CMA, and then he can hold his control key down, and then he can select customer full or whatever else he wants, and then he can either print it or email it. You'll notice also, if you want to print the criteria or your header, or if you're just printing it out for yourself and you don't need the photo, you want to save your ink, you don't want to show the photos. So there's several cool options when you want to print. You don't have to just print one particular form.
Hey, I do want to just kind of piggyback on that. So if you have a normal desktop, you use Control.
Yes.
If you have a Mac, an Apple computer, it's your Command key that you hold down, and then you can select multiple options. So I know that we get that a lot from our Mac Apple users.
Alrighty. Looks like we got a brand new question there that popped up.
Okay.
Says, if you just want to be for a specific address, do I put that address in the address box? In the midish?
Part of
Middle-ish? Oh, okay, the middle-ish part of the screen, you mean. Part of the page, and then follow the same process to the outline. So what he's talking about here, if I do search residential quick, if I want to see a particular address, there's an address field right here. If I click in there and I'm looking for an active property here, then I would put the address, street number and street name, and I could search for that particular address. If I have multiple addresses, I can hit the More button here, and you'll see that I can add more addresses. When we first launched this was limited to 8. And we kept getting calls, I need more than 8. And we'd go, well, how many do you need? I need 9, I need 12, I need 14. So we went back to Netris and said, hey, can you expand that field? And they said, sure, we can do a maximum of 99 different addresses there. So you can do as many addresses here as you want. I'm trying to remember my play listing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Heavenly something or other. Heavenly Row.
Just put heavenly. See what happens.
Heavenly. And let's see if it, no, it's not finding it.
So, WJ, what happens if I say, WJ, you need to look at this property, 123 Main Street, and that's all I tell you. You don't know if it's active, you don't know if it's commercial, you don't know if it's lot and land. What's really the best way to search by an address?
So if I go back to the home here, everybody's home page can look different, but everybody has a search box or widget here. If you put an address in this box, it's a cross-property search. So if you're doing uptime at your broker office or your phone duty or whatever, and somebody calls you and they're sitting in front of a house and they give you an address, you don't know whether it's for lease, for sale, whether it's active, pending, sold, you would put that address in here and it would show you every time it's been through MLS. So I have a pet property that I use in class, 10777 Straight, S-T-R-A-I-T, and I hit search. Boom. There's every time that property has been through MLS. So it's been canceled multiple times, it's expired, and you can see those MLS numbers. If you click on a particular MLS number, you can see the property, and this property literally looks like the White House, both front
Yes, it
and
does.
back. So that's the reason I like to play with this property. And if the agent's on the line, thank you, I love this property.
Now, what happens, WJ, if I can't remember the house number? Can I just put in the name of the street?
Sure, but you're going to see anything on that street that came up. So
Well, I know the city, so I know.
correct. So if I put Straight Lane and I want the one in Dallas, then I would find Dallas in the city here.
Yeah.
And it's going to be anything that's listed on Straight Lane and Dallas. When I hit search, here's all the history, 111 listings, and that's a small little street. It's not a real long street there, but it's every property and every time they've been through MLS there.
Oh, that's really the best way to search for an address, because you might not know what status it is, and you might not know what property type it is. And we get that question a great deal, not only in our classes, but on the phone.
Got another question that's come in here. It's concerning how do I change the office on ZipForms? I've recently changed offices,
yes.
and I can't seem to get my office changed on ZipForms. So to go to ZipForms, there's a couple of different ways. On your home page, there's external links. If you go about halfway down that, you're going to see ZipForm login. So if you've got that available on your desktop there and easy to get to, that's probably the easiest. But if you come up to links, in the first group of icons about towards the bottom, you're going to find ZipForm login. And when you go to ZipForm login, it's going to take you to your ZipForms Plus. And they're doing lots of advertising right now and stuff, so just breeze on through these. And then when you're in to your desktop here, the top right hand corner, you're going to find your name. Click on your name, and in the bottom center is View Profile. View Profile. When you click on that, it has all of your contact information and all of your office information. If you change offices, this does not automatically update. You will have to come in here, put the new broker name, address, all of that. It will change for all future transactions and documents that you create. It won't go back and change your old ones. It'll just change the future ones here. So that's where you change your broker information in ZipForms. One thing you do not want to change on this page is this username. When you set up your account, it's set that username, you're going to cause yourself lots of problems if you change that username. So don't change that username. Great question.
All right. We got another question here. I've worked with an agent I've worked with a buyer for some time now. They'd like to find a little something like in Austin, a little condo in Austin. Is there a way in our MLS that we can see properties in Austin?
What I would do is use RPR.
All right.
Back out on the portal, if you go to the Netris portal, down on the third row, the first icon is RPR.
They also want to know, is that an extra fee?
No, it is free by being a member of the National Association of Realtors. So when I clicked on that icon, it brought me to a sign-in screen. If I was already signed in on this computer, it would remember it. But if you haven't created your account, you'll come down here and hit Create New Account, and you're going to need your NRDS number. And there's an easy way to look it up.
What is NRDS number?
It stands for nerds.
Oh. Are you calling the agents nerds?
No, it's missing the E in here.
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
exactly what it stands for, but it's your National Association of Realtors number there. If you don't know what it is, right here is a lookup. And when you click on that lookup, it will take you to a page where you can put in some common information here and get your NRDS number. So you would need that to set up your original account. But once you set that up, your login's going to be your email address that you gave us when you signed up with us, and then whatever password you set up as creating your account, and then sign in, and it's going to bring you to the home page of RPR. What in the world is RPR? It stands for Realtor Property Resource. Realtor Property Resource. This is a database by the National Association of Realtors. Only National Association of Realtors members have access to it. And it has every residential and every commercial property in the United States in it. That's over 166 million properties are in this database.
That's a lot of inventory.
Yeah. So the blue side of the database is the residential, when you're looking at residential. If you switch to commercial, everything turns red. So you never question which side of the database you're on. The screen color tells you. So it has every residential property in the United States in it. It takes a download from all the central appraisal districts. So you're going to see tax roll data, MLS data, distressed property information, neighborhood demographics, school reports, market activity, you name it, it's in this database. If you go over to the commercial side, this go-to analysis is amazing. You basically have access to Big Brother right here. You can find people based on their education level, what type of work they do, their net worth, what do they spend their money on, you name it. We spend a lot of time in the commercial class showing you all the stuff you can do over here, and I guarantee you, even if you don't do commercial real estate, you want to take this and see what you can do over here. It's really amazing.
So let's find a condo in Austin.
So we wanted
for sale.
For sale condo. So the first thing we're going to do is click on for sale, and then we're going to tell it, I want to see Austin. And when you type in, I really wish I could type. It would really help me so much in my job if I could type properly. So if I come down here to Austin, Texas, then down here we can put in our criteria, and over to the right we can do advanced. If you click on advanced, you can put in additional criteria. So maybe I want active.
Yeah.
I want non-distressed. I don't want foreclosures or short sales or anything. And then when I come down here to property type, instead of doing all, I could uncheck all, and I could do condo or townhome. Okay?
All right.
So in Austin, I don't know, what do you think?
Oh, let's
200,000?
do 150 to 250.
150 to 250.
And at least 2 bedrooms.
And at least 2 bedrooms.
And at least 2 baths.
And 2 baths, you sure?
Yeah, let's see if we
Okay.
can find me a nice condo.
I don't know Austin that well, so we'll see. So I'm going to hit the magnifying glass over here, and it's going to take that criteria and show me information about the condos that it finds there in Austin that are for sale.
Wow.
It takes the download from all the MLSs, well, most of the MLSs
Most of them.
across
Not
the United
everybody
States.
is a
Not
member.
everyone in there yet. And if they're sharing their actives with us, then it's going to show us those active properties. Some MLSs do not share their active properties with RPR. They're way behind the curve here. So we found 68
Yeah.
properties that are there, and you'll see the details about those properties. If you click on one of these properties, right here is a big benefit of RPR. This RVM number. What in the world is an RVM number? It stands for Realtor Valuation Model. Realtor Valuation Model. If you roll over the little I behind it, it gives you more information about it. But an AVM in real estate is Automated Valuation Model. Notoriously wrong. It uses the tax record information to give a property value. And the tax record assessed values are not always on market value. RVM only exists in this database, and it uses the recent sales from MLS to do this calculation. So it should be much more correct. So if I come here and I see this is about 231, 232, and they're listed at 250, they might be a little bit high, okay? But if I come here and the RVM's 260 and they're listed at 250, I'm going, this is a great value. They're under market value. So we spend a lot of time in class on how to use this. We teach 3 classes: the introduction to RPR, which you should take first,
Yes.
the introduction to commercial RPR, even if you don't do commercial RPR, you need to take it, and mobile RPR. The power of RPR is it works on your phone, works on your computer, works on your tablet.
And speaking of classes, can you show them where they can get a list of all of our MLS classes
Sure.
and other classes that we teach here at Metrotex and all of our locations?
If you come to mymetrotex.com, should be a familiar website here. Over on the right-hand side are upcoming classes. If you go down to the bottom, there's View All Classes. When you click on that, this is going to take you to our association online calendar. So the colors here coincide with the colors over here on the left. You'll see the names of the classes, the date and time, and the locations. So should I be selfish and show them just how to see the MLS
Yes,
classes?
just show them how to see the MLS classes.
If you uncheck everything over here, you'll see just our MLS classes, the name of the class in the middle. Over here on the left, you'll see the date and time. Over here is the location. I learned something recently about this, that if you want to see all the classes in one location, in Grapevine, Louisville's a little bit close there, so I just made that 5 miles. If you want to see everything that's in Grapevine, type in Grapevine over here on the left with 5 miles and hit search, and boom, there's all the classes in Grapevine. You could do that for Duncanville, Garland, Richardson, Louisville, any of our service centers. Okay?
Well, are there any more questions out there? We really appreciate you joining us this morning. Do I see any other questions from anybody?
Doesn't look like it, but if you think of something later in the day, we are here till 5 today, but in case you didn't know, we are closed on Monday for the observance of the
I
holiday.
get Monday off?
We get Monday off. I know, it almost never happens. We won't be available, but we are here until 5 today.
And again, our phone number directly to the MLS department is 214-540-2755, and our email address is mls@dfwre.com. Do you have any parting words for us, WJ, this morning?
No, just come to the classes. We've got lots of great classes there for you. And one thing we would like to ask, if you look at these classes and see the ones that we do here, if there's some other class you would like to see, send us an email about it. We're all about meeting our customer needs here. So if there's another class you would like to see the MLS department do, then please send us an email with that information.
Heather, do you have anything to say to our lovely friends out there? Anything you want to remind them about?
The only other thing I would mention is our next webinar coming up. I believe is in June. Is that correct?
It is June, and do you remember the topic that it's on?
I believe it's on Netra's Find.
Yes, and it's Monday, June 12th from 10 to 11. It's by the Find program. It's very similar to RPR, as you can search properties in other locations, but it works a little differently, and it has some other benefits to it. So you can sign up for that. It's on our list of classes that WJ just showed you. If there are no further questions, we are going to bid you adieu. Thank you so much for joining us, WJ.
Everybody have a great holiday weekend.
Yay. Thank you for joining. Bye-bye. We'll see you
Bye-bye,
and talk to you
guys.
soon.